Every man faces two choices in the gym: quit when it hurts, or rise when it burns. The gym is not just a place to build muscle. It's the place where character is built, where warriors are made, and where weakness is destroyed. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every ounce of pain is a silent promise you make to yourself that you will never stop becoming better. This isn't just about lifting weights, it's about lifting your life. Every day you walk into that gym, you're writing the story of your strength, your endurance, and your commitment to greatness. Hook point: when you feel that fire in your muscles, that moment your body screams, "Stop!" That's where the real work begins. Because that's the moment when ordinary men quit and legends are born. Pain isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. You don't run from it, you chase it. You turn that pain into power, that struggle into strength, and that burn into your breakthrough. The world doesn't remember those who almost tried. It remembers those who refuse to quit. So when it hurts, don't slow down, roar louder, lift harder, and show yourself what real strength looks like. When a man steps into the gym, he's not chasing motivation, he's building discipline. Motivation is like a spark. It burns fast and fades away. Discipline, on the other hand, is a flame that never dies when fed by consistency. It's what makes you show up even when you don't feel like it. It's what forces you out of bed when the world is still asleep. Discipline isn't about mood, it's about mission. The gym rewards those who keep showing up when the excitement is gone. The man who depends only on motivation will quit the moment things get hard, but the man who builds discipline will keep pushing through pain, through fatigue, through doubt. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel, it only cares that you finish what you started. Discipline whispers in your ear, "Don't stop now, you've come too far." And that voice is stronger than any excuse you'll ever make. When you train with discipline, you stop looking for easy days. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You start creating progress with your own hands. Discipline teaches you that progress isn't made in one big leap. It's made through small, consistent steps taken every single day. Every rep, every set, every meal choice builds a foundation that can't be shaken by emotions. Discipline turns ordinary men into warriors. It builds a mind that doesn't crumble under pressure, because when the weight gets heavy, discipline reminds you that the struggle is part of the reward. When others slow down, you push harder. That's what separates you from the crowd, not talent, not luck, but the strength to stay consistent when everything inside you wants to quit. A man with discipline doesn't need an audience. He doesn't need validation. He trains in silence, fueled by purpose. Every day he wakes up and does the work, not because someone is watching, but because he made a promise to himself. That's what real integrity looks like. It's keeping your word to yourself, even when no one else would know if you quit. There will be mornings when your body aches and your mind says, "Take a day off," but discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline says, "You trained tired before, you'll train tired again." Those days, the hard, heavy ones, are the days that shape you the most. That's when your body learns endurance and your mind learns mastery. Those are the moments that build unshakable mental strength. Every man wants to be strong, but not every man wants to do what it takes. Strength doesn't come from hype, it comes from habit. Discipline is that habit. It's waking up early, eating clean, training hard, and repeating the process day after day. You don't need to see instant results to keep going. You need faith in the process and the will to continue. Discipline keeps that faith alive when results take time. When you live with discipline, you gain control over your emotions, your time, and your energy. You stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. You stop chasing temporary pleasure and start pursuing lasting growth. That's when your life starts changing, because the same discipline that shapes your body also strengthens your character. The gym becomes your training ground not just for muscle, but for mastery over yourself. There's beauty in repetition, in doing the same hard things again and again until they become part of who you are. That's what discipline does. It transforms struggle into strength, routine into ritual, and pain into purpose. When discipline becomes your default, you no longer need to force yourself to train. You simply show up, because that's who you are now, a man who keeps his word no matter how hard the road gets. In a world where everyone wants quick results, discipline is your secret weapon. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's powerful. It's the quiet force that builds legends in the dark. And when you finally see your reflection in the mirror, you won't just see muscles, you'll see the proof of every early morning, every sacrifice, every choice you made when quitting seemed easier. That's the reward of discipline, not just a stronger body, but an unbreakable will. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Every drop of sweat, every burning muscle, every rep that makes you want to quit, that's the moment when growth begins. Pain is the signal that your body is transforming, that your limits are being stretched and your strength is being reborn. Most people run from pain, but the man who learns to embrace it becomes unstoppable. Because he understands that comfort never created a warrior, only struggle does. In the gym, pain is your mentor. It doesn't come to break you, it comes to build you. Every heavy lift that shakes your arms, every set that makes your lungs scream, is shaping a stronger version of you. The pain you feel today will become the strength you'll rely on tomorrow. When others see pain as punishment, the disciplined man sees it as progress. Because pain means you're still fighting, still pushing, still alive in your pursuit, pain separates the committed from the casual. Anyone can train when it's easy, but only a few keep pushing when it burns. The burn is where champions are made. It's in that space between the last rep you think you can't do and the one you decide to finish anyway that real growth happens. You don't just build your body there, you build your spirit. You train your mind to endure discomfort without backing down. When you learn to accept pain, it no longer controls you. Instead of fearing it, you start to welcome it. You understand that the path to greatness is not lined with comfort but with challenge. The iron doesn't care about your feelings. The weights will test your will every single day. But when you embrace the test, you rise above weakness. You stop asking, "Why is this so hard?" and start saying, "I'm built for this." Pain also humbles you. It reminds you that strength is not given, it's earned. It strips away ego and forces you to face your true self, the one who either fights back or folds. In those moments, when your body wants to stop and your mind is screaming to quit, you find out who you really are. You discover the power of resilience that lives inside you, waiting to be awakened. That discovery only comes through pain. Every man who has achieved greatness has made pain his companion. He doesn't run from it. He walks with it. He doesn't complain about it. He respects it, because he knows that pain is proof of effort, proof of progress, and proof that he's pushing beyond his limits. The more pain you can endure with discipline, the more unstoppable you become in every area of life, not just the gym. Pain is temporary, but its lessons are permanent. The soreness fades, the fatigue passes, but the strength you gain stays with you. Every time you push through discomfort, You are training your mind to overcome adversity, and that same mindset carries into everything you do, your work, your goals, your life. Once you've faced pain and refuse to quit, nothing else can intimidate you. The truth is, avoiding pain leads to weakness. Every time you skip a workout because it's hard, you lose a little bit of your edge. But every time you push through, you sharpen that edge. You reinforce the truth that pain is not an obstacle. It's a doorway. You just have to be brave enough to walk through it. The man who walks through pain with purpose comes out stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Pain demands respect, not fear. It's the fire that refines you. Without it, you'd stay ordinary. But when you face it head on, you evolve. The iron doesn't lie. It tells you the truth about your effort, your mindset, and your will. Pain doesn't weaken you. Quitting does. Pain builds the armor you'll need to face every challenge in the gym and in life. At the end of the day, pain is not something to avoid, it's something to master. Because when you can endure pain with patience and faith, you become a man who's not ruled by weakness or emotion. You become the kind of man who refuses to surrender, the man who feels the pain, understands it, and uses it to fuel his journey. That's the man who never gives up. Discipline is the foundation of every great man's strength. It's not motivation that builds a powerful body. It's discipline that keeps you consistent when motivation disappears. The truth is, motivation is temporary. It fades when you're tired, when life gets heavy, or when progress feels slow. But discipline is loyal. Discipline wakes you up before dawn when no one is watching. Discipline drives you to the gym when your body screams for rest. Discipline turns effort into habit, and habit into greatness. Every man wants results, but few are willing to stay disciplined long enough to earn them. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not the loud moments of hype or the music blasting in your ears. It's the quiet, unseen choices you make daily. It's saying no to excuses, no to comfort, and yes to the grind. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks if you're committed. Because the disciplined man trains whether he's excited or exhausted. He shows up because he knows that showing up is half the victory. Discipline teaches control. It gives you the power to master your body, your time, and your emotions. When you control yourself, you're not driven by laziness or mood swings. You become steady, focused on the mission, not the moment. The disciplined man understands that the mind is the commander and the body follows. Every rep, every set, every meal choice, and every hour of rest is an act of self-control. That control becomes your edge. It's what separates the serious from the soft. The greatest athletes and strongest men didn't get there by doing what they wanted. They got there by doing what was necessary. Discipline doesn't make things easy. It makes you capable. It trains you to act even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when nobody's cheering you on. Discipline gives you the ability to keep going when others stop. It's the silent agreement you make with yourself to never betray your potential. Discipline doesn't mean perfection, it means progress. It's not about never failing, it's about never staying down. The disciplined man doesn't look for shortcuts, he builds his path one step at a time. He knows that consistency beats intensity. One disciplined day after another creates a lifetime of results. The body you build is just a reflection of the discipline you've built inside. In the gym, discipline means you don't skip the hard sets. It means you don't cheat the reps when no one is counting. It means you give your best on every single lift, not because someone's watching, but because you respect yourself too much to do less. Discipline means training with purpose, not emotion. It's when you train even when your mind says stop, because your spirit says keep going. Discipline also extends beyond the gym. It's how you eat, how you rest, how you manage your time, and how you treat your responsibilities. The man who trains his body but not his habits will always fall short. Discipline doesn't just build muscles, it builds character. It builds trust in yourself, because every time you follow through on your commitment, you prove that your word means something. Discipline and freedom are connected. The more disciplined you are, the freer you become. When you live by discipline, you don't need to be pushed. You push yourself. You don't depend on mood swings to get things done. You depend on your commitment. Freedom doesn't come from doing what you want. It comes from mastering what you must. And that mastery begins with discipline. When a man becomes disciplined, he becomes dangerous, not because he's aggressive, but because he's in control. He's not easily distracted, not easily broken, and not easily influenced. He doesn't need validation because he already knows his purpose. Discipline creates focus, and focus creates power. The world respects a man who keeps his word, especially to himself. Discipline is the art of doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's the voice that says, get up, when your mind says, stay in bed. It's the drive that says, finish strong, when your body says, I'm done. Discipline is what makes men unshakable. It's what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Without it, dreams remain dreams, but with it, you can build a body, a mindset, and a legacy that nothing can destroy. Failure is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of your strength. Every time you fail, you're being given a lesson, a mirror showing you what needs to be fixed, what needs to be learned, and what needs to be strengthened. Most people fear failure, but the strong use it as fuel. Failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Every missed lift, every bad day in the gym, every time you fall short of your goal, that's an opportunity to rise sharper, hungrier, and more disciplined than before. In the gym, failure is inevitable. You will hit limits. You will face days when the weight wins. But those moments aren't defeats, they are data. They show you where your current edge lies. The man who never fails is the man who never tries. Every rep that ends in failure teaches you something your success never could. You learn patience, technique, and humility. You learn that strength isn't built in the victory, it's built in the recovery. Failure tests your commitment. When everything goes wrong, when you hit that wall and feel like quitting, that's when your real character speaks. Do you walk away or do you come back stronger? The men who succeed in life aren't the ones who never fall, they're the ones who get back up every single time. They don't see failure as shame, they see it as training, because every setback, every painful moment is preparing them for the next level. You don't fail when you fall, you fail when you refuse to rise. Every champion has scars. Every legend has a story of defeat. The difference is that they turned those moments into motivation. They studied their weaknesses instead of denying them. They turned embarrassment into energy and frustration into focus. Failure refines you if you let it. It burns away excuses and forces you to rebuild with wisdom and willpower. In the gym, failure is where progress begins. When your muscles reach the point of exhaustion, when you can't lift one more rep, that's when growth is happening. That's where your body learns to adapt. That pain, that shaking, that last rep you couldn't finish, it's not failure, it's feedback. It's your body saying, next time I'll be stronger. Failure in training is simply proof that you're pushing beyond your limits. The greatest mistake is avoiding failure altogether. People who avoid failure also avoid success, because both walk the same path. You can't grow inside comfort. You can't become exceptional by playing safe. When you stop fearing failure, you free yourself from hesitation. You begin to move with confidence because you understand that even if you fall, you'll rise again with more power than before. Failure also humbles the ego. It reminds you that there's always more to learn, always another level to reach. The man who stops learning becomes weak, but the man who uses failure as a teacher becomes unstoppable. Every failed attempt adds another layer of experience, another reason to keep pushing. You begin to see failure not as rejection, but as redirection, guiding you toward better methods and stronger mindsets. When failure hits, it doesn't just challenge your muscles, it challenges your mind. It whispers that you're not good enough, that you should stop trying. But that's when your mindset must roar back louder. That's when you remind yourself that failure only hurts the man who fears it. The strong take failure as a challenge, a call to rise again with more fire, more focus, and more fight. Every time you overcome failure, you earn something more valuable than strength. You earn resilience. You build an inner toughness that can't be shaken by loss or doubt. You become the kind of man who doesn't break under pressure but bends and returns stronger. That resilience will serve you in every part of life, not just in the gym. So when failure comes, don't hide from it. Don't let it make you bitter, let it make you better. You weren't created to be perfect. You were created to grow. Failure is the forge where greatness is shaped. Every rep you fail, every time you stumble, every time you fall short, it's not the end of your journey. It's just another chance to rebuild yourself stronger than ever before. Your environment shapes your strength more than you realize. The people you surround yourself with, the energy you allow around you, and the mindset you absorb from your surroundings all play a major role in your growth. If you want to become stronger, both mentally and physically, you must be around those who challenge you to rise higher. A man who surrounds himself with weak minds will eventually think weak thoughts. But when you place yourself among warriors, people who push harder, think sharper, and live with purpose, you begin to elevate naturally. In the gym, environment is everything. The energy of the place, the focus of those training beside you, and even the music can determine how deep you go into your sets. A focused atmosphere breeds focused effort. When you train around people who take their craft seriously, you feel that fire inside you ignite. You see others pushing past their limits, and suddenly your limits don't seem so far away. You begin to match that intensity, not out of competition, but out of inspiration. You must protect your environment like your strength depends on it, because it does. Negative energy drains you faster than any workout. If the people around you constantly complain, make excuses, or laugh at your discipline, that energy starts to influence your mindset. Slowly, you begin to think like them, speak like them, and act like them. Greatness dies in negative environments. That's why successful people guard their energy. They spend time with those who make them better, not bitter. Your environment doesn't only include people, it includes your habits, your routine, and your mindset. A cluttered space breeds a cluttered mind. If your gym bag is a mess, your schedule unplanned, and your goals unclear, chaos begins to control you. But when your environment is built around discipline, when your space is clean, your meals are prepped, your workouts planned, your focus becomes unshakable. You move through your day with clarity and control. The gym should be your temple of growth, a place where your mind and body align for a single purpose, improvement. When you step inside, leave behind all distractions, negativity, and ego. The iron doesn't care who you are or where you came from. It only respects effort. That's why creating the right atmosphere matters. It should remind you of your mission every time you walk in. The sound of the weights, the smell of the effort, the rhythm of your breathing, That's your environment of progress. Sometimes you have to change your circle to change your level. It's not about thinking you're better than others, it's about wanting better for yourself. If your friends don't understand your goals, that's fine. Not everyone will. But never let anyone convince you to slow down just to make them comfortable. Growth is personal. The right environment will support your vision, not sabotage it. Surround yourself with those who want to see you win, who respect your grind, and who remind you to stay focused when you start to drift. Your environment also includes the words you allow in your head. What you listen to, what you watch, and what you speak to yourself all matter. Fill your environment with motivation, with discipline, with reminders of what you're fighting for. Don't waste energy feeding your mind with negativity or doubt. Every word you hear either strengthens you or weakens you. Choose strength. When your environment supports your purpose, discipline becomes natural. You no longer fight against resistance, you flow with it. Your surroundings begin to pull you towards success instead of holding you back. Every day you step into that energy, you're reminded of who you're becoming. You start to crave the challenge because your environment rewards effort, not excuses. Even when life outside the gym gets chaotic, your training space should be your fortress. It should be the place where noise fades and purpose takes over. The environment you create there will shape your mindset for everything else in life. When you train in discipline, you live in discipline. When you train in chaos, you live in confusion. At the end of the day, your environment is a reflection of your standards. You either build a space that pushes you toward greatness or one that keeps you comfortable in mediocrity. Choose wisely, because the energy you absorb today becomes the strength or weakness you live with tomorrow. Surround yourself with fire, and you'll never go cold in your pursuit of greatness. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's not about how hard you work one day, it's about how hard you work every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Every rep, every set, every drop of sweat counts only if you keep showing up. The gym rewards consistency, not bursts of motivation. Many start strong, full of energy and excitement, but they fade when the results take time. The true champion keeps going, understanding that greatness is built through repetition, not emotion. There will be days when you don't feel like training, when your body feels heavy, your mind feels tired, and life pulls you in every direction. But those are the days that test your commitment. Anyone can train when they're motivated, but it takes real discipline to train when motivation is gone. Every time you push through those moments, you build something far more powerful than muscle. You build character, the kind of strength that no one can see but everyone can feel. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You will stumble, miss workouts, or have off days. What matters is that you don't quit. You get back up and keep moving forward. That's what defines a man who never gives up. He doesn't wait for the perfect conditions, he creates them through action. He knows that one bad day doesn't erase progress, giving up does. Every comeback after a setback makes you stronger than before. In fitness, small daily efforts compound into massive transformation. The man who lifts a little every day, eats clean most of the time, and rests with discipline will always outgrow the one who trains hard once in a while. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds results. Over time, your body changes, your confidence grows, and your mind sharpens, not because of one great workout, but because of thousands of small, consistent efforts. You can't cheat consistency, you can't fake it. It's built in silence when no one is watching. It's built on those cold mornings when you wake up before dawn, or those late nights when you're exhausted but still choose to train. Every time you choose to show up, you prove something to yourself, that your word matters, that your goals matter, that you matter. That's what separates you from the crowd. The path of consistency is not exciting. It's repetitive, sometimes boring, often painful. But that's where the magic happens. The body adapts, the mind strengthens, and the soul becomes resilient. Success doesn't come to those who do the most dramatic things. It comes to those who do the simple things consistently. Eat clean, train hard, sleep well, repeat over and over again until the results are undeniable. When you become consistent, discipline takes over. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop questioning whether you should go to the gym. It becomes automatic, a part of who you are. That's when transformation becomes inevitable. Your life starts to align with your habits, and your habits start to reflect your goals. Consistency turns effort into identity. Even when progress feels slow, stay consistent, because while you might not see results daily, your body and mind are changing in ways you can't yet see. Muscles are repairing, endurance is building, focus is sharpening. It's a process that rewards patience. The man who stays consistent long enough always wins. Time becomes his ally, not his enemy. Consistency also inspires others. When people see your dedication, your refusal to give up, your steady commitment, they start to believe in their own potential. You become an example, a source of strength for those who once doubted themselves. That's the power of showing up, not just for you, but for everyone watching silently. Every day you train, every meal you discipline yourself to eat right. Every time you refuse to quit, you're writing your legacy. Consistency is how ordinary men become legends. It's not the biggest, fastest, or strongest who rise, it's the most consistent. Keep showing up, because one day you'll look back and realize that the small, daily efforts built the giant you've become. Pain is the language of growth. Every rep that burns, every muscle that screams, every drop of sweat that rolls down your face, that's the sound of your body transforming. You can't build strength without resistance, and you can't build greatness without discomfort. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your guide. It's the fire that molds the weak into the unbreakable. Those who avoid pain remain stuck where they are, but those who embrace it rise above their limits. The gym teaches one of life's greatest truths. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Each set that pushes you past comfort is a step toward a stronger version of yourself. Pain reminds you that you're alive, that you're working towards something worth fighting for. You learn to stop fearing it and start respecting it. Because deep inside every struggle, there's progress waiting to be unlocked. Most people quit when it hurts. They think the pain means they've reached their limit, but the truth is, that's where the real training begins. The last few reps, the final stretch, the moment your body wants to give up, that's where growth hides. Pain separates those who wish from those who will. When you stop avoiding the pain and start pushing through it, you begin to see what you're truly capable of. There's a difference between pain and injury. Pain is a teacher, injury is a warning. The wise learn from both. Pain tells you that your body is adapting, evolving, becoming something stronger than before. It's not there to break you, it's there to shape you. Once you understand that, your mindset shifts. Instead of running from pain, you start walking toward it with purpose. Embracing pain also strengthens the mind. When you train through discomfort, you teach your brain to stay calm under pressure. You stop panicking when life gets hard because the gym has already trained you to stay focused. The same mental toughness that helps you finish a brutal workout helps you survive the storms outside the gym. Pain becomes your armor and discipline becomes your sword. When you accept pain as part of the process, excuses start to disappear. You no longer wait for perfect conditions or easy days. You realize that every champion has suffered, every strong body was built through struggle. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent. It's the willingness to endure pain longer than others. That's what defines greatness. Pain builds humility. It reminds you that growth takes time, that progress demands patience. Every sore muscle, every aching joint is proof that you're putting in work. You stop chasing instant gratification and start trusting the process. You begin to see pain not as punishment, but as proof that you showed up, that you gave your all, that you're closer than yesterday. Over time, you start to crave the grind. The pain that once scared you now drives you. You begin to see it as a sign of forward motion. Because you know if you're not hurting, you're not growing. You start looking forward to that burn, not because it's easy, but because it means you're pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Pain also teaches gratitude. When you've fought through tough sets, early mornings, and exhaustion, you learn to appreciate your strength. You realize that the struggle was necessary to earn that feeling of power and progress. You stop taking small victories for granted. Every rep completed, every pound lifted becomes a celebration of what your body and mind can endure together. In the end, pain is what makes the journey meaningful. Without it, there would be no pride in your progress, no respect for your transformation. Pain gives your success its value. So the next time it hurts, don't step back, lean in. That pain is your proof that you're becoming who you were meant to be. Consistency is the bridge between your dreams and your results. It's not the heavy lifts you do once in a while that shape you. It's the commitment you show every single day. The real secret to greatness isn't found in a single workout. It's found in the repetition, in showing up when no one's watching. Every rep, every meal, every early morning compounds into something powerful over time. Consistency is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. The truth is, motivation fades. There will be days when you don't feel like training, when the weights seem heavier than usual, and when your body begs you to quit. That's when consistency steps in. You train not because you feel like it, but because you've made a promise to yourself. You stop negotiating with your excuses and start honoring your commitment. That's how you build an unshakable foundation, not through bursts of energy, but through steady persistence. Every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. One day of effort might not change much, but a year of relentless consistency transforms everything. The gym rewards those who stay patient, who put in the work even when progress feels invisible. The mirror may not reflect it yet, but your discipline is building something far more valuable, the kind of strength that doesn't fade when life gets hard. Consistency also builds trust in yourself. When you commit to your plan and follow through, you start to believe in your own power. You stop relying on outside validation because your results speak for themselves. That quiet confidence doesn't come from luck. It comes from repetition. You earn it through every workout completed, every goal met, every day you refuse to quit. Most people underestimate what they can achieve in a year because they overestimate what they can achieve in a week. Consistency teaches patience. It shows you that success isn't about speed, it's about direction. A slow climb done daily is better than a sprint followed by weeks of rest. You learn to value progress no matter how small, because small steps taken consistently lead to massive transformations over time. The gym is a reflection of life. Just as your body doesn't change overnight, neither does your mindset, your career, or your character. Everything meaningful requires consistent effort. If you skip the process, you lose the reward. The same discipline that makes you show up for your workouts is the same discipline that helps you win in every area of life. Consistency is not just a fitness habit, it's a way of living. When you train consistently, your body starts to adapt. Muscles grow, endurance increases, and strength becomes second nature. But something deeper happens too. Your mindset evolves. You start to think differently. You begin to believe that no goal is too far, no challenge too big. Because you've proven to yourself that consistency beats everything: motivation, talent, and even circumstance. There's beauty in routine. Some might call it boring, but those who truly understand progress know that repetition is sacred. Each day you show up is another brick in the fortress you're building. Every consistent action strengthens your foundation until one day what once felt impossible becomes effortless. The repetition that others avoid becomes your secret weapon. Consistency also humbles you. It reminds you that every great physique, every success story, every strong person you admire, they all started at zero. The only difference between them and those who gave up is consistency. You learn to respect the grind, to appreciate the process, and to find pride in the small daily victories that lead to transformation. At the end of it all, consistency wins because it never stops. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about never giving up when things get tough. The body you dream of, the strength you crave, the mindset you desire, they're all built through consistency. So, when motivation fades and the fire feels dim, remind yourself, consistency is the key that unlocks every goal you've ever dreamed of. Sacrifice is the silent price of every great achievement. In the gym, just like in life, nothing extraordinary comes without giving something up. You can't expect to reach your full potential while holding onto your comfort zone. The man who builds strength must be willing to let go of ease, sleep, and distractions. Progress demands payment, and that payment is sacrifice. Whether it's waking up earlier, staying disciplined with your diet, or saying no to things that slow you down, sacrifice separates the strong from the soft. Every rep, every drop of sweat is a form of sacrifice. You're giving your energy, your time, and your comfort in exchange for something far greater: growth. You learn that discipline and sacrifice are two sides of the same coin. When others choose the couch, you choose the grind. When others give in to laziness, you stay focused. That's what builds not just muscle, but character. The stronger your ability to sacrifice, the greater your capacity to succeed. There's a hidden power in sacrifice. It teaches you control. You stop living for instant gratification and start chasing long-term rewards. Skipping that unhealthy meal or finishing that final rep, even when you're exhausted, might seem small, but those small sacrifices accumulate. Each one is a reminder that you are in charge of your desires, not the other way around. It's this mastery over self that defines greatness. Many people dream of transformation, but few are willing to make the sacrifices required. They want the reward without the work, the result without the resistance. But the truth is, there is no shortcut. The gym teaches you that every gain comes with a cost. You can't cheat the process. You can't outsmart consistency. The only way to level up is to embrace the pain that comes with growth. Sacrifice also shapes your mindset. It builds mental armor. When you constantly choose discipline over comfort, your threshold for struggle expands. You stop fearing hard work. You stop running from discomfort. Instead, you begin to crave it because you understand that every moment of struggle is carving you into something stronger. What once felt like suffering becomes satisfaction because you know the pain has a purpose. It's not easy to make sacrifices when the results don't show right away. Sometimes you'll question if it's worth it. You'll wonder why you're putting in so much effort while others seem to progress faster. But the truth is, sacrifice is an investment, one that always pays off. The reward might not be immediate, but it is inevitable for those who stay patient and faithful to the process. When you start to see progress, you realize that every sacrifice mattered. The skipped parties, the long nights, the early mornings, they weren't losses, they were trades. You traded temporary comfort for lasting transformation. You traded excuses for results, and that's a trade every successful person is willing to make. Sacrifice also filters your circle. The moment you start prioritizing your growth, you'll notice who supports it and who doesn't. Not everyone will understand why you push so hard, why you say no to comfort, or why you live with such discipline. But those who do, those who share that hunger, they'll walk the journey with you. The rest will fade away, and that's part of the sacrifice too. The more you sacrifice, the clearer your purpose becomes. You start to move differently. You no longer chase validation or approval. You train for something deeper, self-mastery. You start to respect the grind, not because it's glamorous, but because it's honest. Every rep becomes a reflection of your choices, your values, your sacrifice. At the end of it all, sacrifice becomes your strength. You realize that what you gave up was never truly lost. It was exchanged for something greater. Every drop of sweat, every moment of discipline, every sacrifice you make builds not just your body but your legacy. The man who learns to sacrifice without hesitation is the man who learns to win without limit. Pain is the greatest teacher in the gym and in life. It's the voice that tells you where your limits are and challenges you to go beyond them. Most people run from pain, but those who rise, those who become exceptional, they learn to embrace it. They understand that pain isn't punishment, it's a signal of progress. Every ache, every burn, every moment you feel like giving up is simply your body being molded into something stronger. Growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in the fire. When you lift a weight heavier than before, it hurts. Your muscles tear, your body screams, but through that pain, your body rebuilds itself stronger than it was yesterday. The same is true for your mindset. When life tests you, when you face loss, failure, or hardship, it's not to break you. It's to rebuild you with thicker skin, sharper focus, and deeper drive. Pain is not your enemy, it's your coach, teaching you lessons comfort never could. The gym is the perfect metaphor for life's struggles. You can't lift heavy without resistance. You can't grow stronger without strain. The moment you feel pain, you're at the edge of transformation. Most stop there, the great ones push further, because they know that every rep beyond comfort is building not just muscle, but mental power. Pain teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you that strength isn't built in moments of ease. It's forged in moments of struggle. You must train your mind to stop associating pain with weakness. Pain doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're fighting. The soreness after a hard workout is proof that you showed up and gave everything you had. In life, pain often shows up the same way after effort, after commitment, after growth. If you can endure the pain, you earn the progress. But if you avoid the pain, you remain stuck in mediocrity. There's beauty in pain when you understand its purpose. It humbles you. It reminds you that greatness comes with a cost. Every drop of sweat and every muscle ache is a symbol of your dedication. The gym becomes a place where pain transforms into purpose. You start craving the burn because you know it's a sign that you're evolving. That mindset, loving the grind, respecting the pain, is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Pain also builds focus. When you're under the barbell, there's no room for distraction. It's you against gravity, you against weakness, you against doubt. Pain pulls your attention into the moment. It forces you to face yourself. You can't fake effort when you're in pain. You can't hide behind excuses. Pain exposes truth, and in that truth you find strength. As you grow stronger, pain changes its meaning. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once broke you now fuels you. That's the sign of true progress, not the absence of pain, but the mastery of it. You stop fearing the hard days because you've learned that every challenge is temporary, but the strength you build from it is permanent. Pain also teaches gratitude. You start to appreciate your body, your strength, your endurance. You realize how blessed you are to be able to push, to lift, to improve. Not everyone has that ability, so you stop complaining about the soreness and start thanking it. You thank the pain for making you disciplined, determined, and unbreakable. Many people want success, but few are willing to endure the pain it takes to get there. That's why only a few rise to the top. They've learned that pain is the gatekeeper of greatness. To reach your best self, you must walk through it, not around it. Every rep that hurts, every run that burns, every sacrifice that stings, it's all part of becoming the version of yourself you've never met before. Pain refines you. It cuts away weakness, ego, and fear until only strength remains. The person who learns to stand tall through pain becomes unstoppable. When pain no longer controls you, nothing can defeat you. That's the moment when the gym becomes more than a place to train your body. It becomes the battlefield where your spirit is forged, rep by rep, until pain becomes power and struggle becomes strength. Every drop of sweat, every ounce of pain, every rep that feels impossible, it's all leading you somewhere greater. This is more than training, this is transformation. You're not just building a body, you're building discipline, patience, and purpose. Remember, the world respects results, not excuses. Stay consistent, stay humble, and stay hungry. Let every session be a reminder that you're not done yet. You were made to endure, made to conquer, and made to inspire. So walk back into that gym tomorrow with one goal: to become stronger than you were yesterday, because real men never give up.